fecal sludge management is one of the great conundrums of our time. From a water perspective, it is one of the principal big containers of water that we always have to provide for in every municipality, whether it's a small town or a large city, with every rural village, everywhere. And we're using very outdated technologies. We're using water-intensive technologies that are 200 years out of date. At the same time, we need to provide safe solutions for people, safe sanitation solutions, because there's a lot of disease associated with bad sanitation, and the health burden, both on an individual level and a societal level, is very, very high. The third thing is that sanitation is core to our dignity. If we want to genuinely expand the frontiers of human dignity, we have to have very decent solutions for people so that sanitation doesn't come in the way of a decent quality of life. The challenge around this conference is to put our minds together to find new and innovative solutions to deal with all of these at the same time. Because it must be possible to have low water intensive sanitation solutions that's both safe as well as organizers for dignity of human beings. The second part that we want to engage around this thing is organizing this in a way so that there's a multiplicity of partnership. Because currently sanitation solutions come from one source only. It's from government. Whether it's national government or local government, it's from government. We need to expand that with business partners and social society partners, because that's the sustainability that we're seeking out. Okay.
Thank you.
Doulaye Kone, please could you tell us about the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Yes, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is the largest philanthropic organization in the world, and the work that we're doing focus on improving people's health and getting majority of people out of poverty, and so focusing a lot on global health challenges, global development challenges, as what the foundation is.
In the field of water and sanitation, can you tell us about some of the projects that you are involved in?
Yes, among all the challenges that people are facing, health issues, and hunger, poverty, water and sanitation plays also an important role. The foundation wants to make a difference here by innovating in this sector. This is a field where there haven't been any innovation since 200 years, and our program is focusing at redesigning, reinventing the toilet to stop spreading the disease in the environment, and making the existing sanitation system also sustainable so that we avoid preventable death of kids and women, and provide accessible and affordable solutions for everyone.
What is your position in the organization?
I'm working at the foundation as Senior Program Officer. So I lead our initiative on technology development, but the program is much larger than the single initiative that I'm leading. So the other component of the program are policy and advocacy, making sure that whenever we have some evidence, some success, we can share this with decision makers. We also work with government, with cities to introduce new technologies, to push for uptake of innovation, and get these cities and government ready for uptaking innovation.
Captain, if you want to ask.
Look at a flushing toilet as the gold standard, something to aspire to. Even our census, I see yesterday, if you don't have a flushing toilet, you're regarded as having no toilet, which is crazy. So it's a tap in your house, or electricity in your house, or a flushing toilet in your house. And we are saying that we cannot carry on using flushing toilets. Nobody can, not even the rich people. And so it's trying to move away from this idea that a flushing toilet is something to aspire to, and also to deal with this perception that a flushing toilet is what the wealthy people have, and a dry toilet is what you give to poor people. And rather try and move that debate to saying that everybody needs to change their toilet. The toilet that was invented in 1860 is no longer relevant in the 21st century. And so we've made basically no technology advances in those 160 years, and we need to do something new. And so the work that we're doing is trying to find ways to replace the old flushing toilet with something that doesn't need water, but that meets all the criteria that people put down when they say to us, this is what I want out of a toilet, a place that's clean, that doesn't smell, that's light where I can read, rather than a dark hole that smells. And as soon as I put water in it and try and clean it, and it hits the feces in the pit, I get this horrible smell coming back at me. So it's trying to find toilets that don't need water to seal you from whatever in the toilet or is in the sewer, and that doesn't need water to keep the toilet clean. And we're starting to see results. We're seeing technology, we're seeing coatings for toilets, we're seeing different ways of sealing off the toilet outlet from the sewer. And so we will then be able to say to everybody, this is the new toilet of the future. Everybody will want it. And hopefully it'll be like cell phones. Because there are a lot of advantages to us. Africa had very few people connected to telephones. Less than 20% of them. And now everybody has a phone. But it's not a landline. It's a cell phone. There's as many cell phones, I think, as people in South Africa in circulation. And we were able to jump from no service to 100% service without laying any expensive cables and wires. And we think the same thing will happen in sewage. And we can have a decentralized system, process the effluent, recover the nutrients, which is another big concern. We're running out of nutrients for agriculture. Then what goes to the sewage works will be clean. The sewage works will be a lot simpler. We won't pollute the environment. The solution will be a lot more affordable to our customers and to ourselves. So there's a win-win all the way around. So that's my message in summary.
Yes.
All right. Hi, my name is Pam Elardo. I am the director of the King County Wastewater Treatment Division in Seattle, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest area of the United States. And I have another job. I am the president of a small nonprofit working for clean water and sanitation throughout the world called the Living Earth Institute. And in both of these scales, even though they're very different jobs, the keys for success are very similar. It takes human capital to be able to build systems, to be able to operate and maintain them. And it takes a commitment from an organization to build capacity for leadership, as well as technical capacity to put the right systems in the right place for the right community. Sometimes in working internationally, it involves a broader set of activities, such as training people and helping them foster some income generation programs so that they have funds that they can pay into maintenance systems and take care of their investments long term. So there's a lot of advantages in fecal management. It is a natural resource that's been around as long as humans and animals have been around, for a very long time. It biodegrades, and it's a problem when it's in a concentrated form amongst people who are living together, and it is something we need to manage and take care of. Today, we have a lot of new technologies that really take those natural processes and make the best benefit from them. You can get methane gas, biogas, from a process of digestion of fecal matter, and that can be sold. It can be sold to a utility, it can be used directly as a fuel, and it can be used to run engines and motors. It is a valuable resource. We also can make fertilizer products, and not only is it a good fertilizer product in terms of taking care of the waste in a very beneficial way, but it is better than a synthetic fertilizer. And it is more cost effective to apply it to a farmer's field and grow crops than it is to put it in a landfill or try and get rid of it in some other way. So there really is a broad range of advantages to our industry in fecal management. Even in places where you're using water to transfer fecal matter to a treatment facility. When that water is clean, it's an irrigation source. So I encourage everybody to think about waste as a resource. Think about it as something that you can invest in and gain benefits from financially and environmentally. And think about it in terms of everybody does it and we all have a responsibility to take care of it in the best way that we can. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was good.
I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics. That is called asset management. Also life cycle cost, because life cycle cost is not just what you pay to buy a piece of equipment. It's what it costs to own the equipment. You have to operate it, you have to maintain it, you you have to buy spare parts for it, you have to fix it when it breaks. So there is a cost of ownership, even if you get a piece of equipment for free. It could be a pump, a pipe, a tank system that's used to make methane gas. Whatever it is, these are all assets, the equipment we use to rely on for fecal management. And so this is cost on this axis, and this is time. And typically, this is the way an asset looks over time. You buy it, you spend a couple years deciding what you want to buy, and you purchase it, and then you actually spend a little bit more time and money to put that piece of equipment into service. And it's a new piece of equipment. It works great. After you get into service, you don't have to pay too much attention to it because it's running well, and people tend to ignore it. But after a little while, since you haven't been paying attention to it, things start to break down, and suddenly you're spending a lot more time on it. You have to put more energy into fixing, repairing. You get some failures. Suddenly the pumping system or the valve stops working, and you have to either replace it or figure out a way to make it work. And eventually, everything has a lifetime where it's not going to last forever. But in this curve, your equipment's going to fail, and you're spending a ton of time and money trying to keep it running towards the end of its life. A better way to do it is on this yellow curve. It might be a little hard to see. Same thing, you plan and you buy the piece of equipment, but instead of ignoring it and walking away when it's new, you actually have an instituted regular maintenance program. You do repairs as needed, you lubricate the pumping systems, you check the valves, you replace parts when it's needed, and you just basically spread your maintenance attention more consistently. And what you'll find is that equipment does not break down as much, and it'll last longer, and you're not spending as much money over time. You're actually spending a little bit more money up front to set up this good maintenance program. But the difference between these two lines is the money you save by doing this proactive, very well planned maintenance program. And that's not all. This line that I just showed you is where my utility in Seattle, Washington has been for a number of years. But over the last 5 years, we're doing something even better. We're looking at spending even more money up front, making much better decisions about the kind of equipment that we purchase. We're involving operations and maintenance staff, not just engineers, on picking an equipment or a technology. And when you do that, it costs more money up front. And we're looking at different equipment based on its energy consumption, a lot of different things. So we're spending more time here. And when you do that, and you institute a better maintenance program in terms of not just regular maintenance based on a schedule or a calendar, but maintenance really tailored to what each individual piece of equipment needs. So when you do that, you actually optimize your maintenance needs. You defer maintenance when you don't need to work on stuff, and you get on maintenance right away when you do. And this, again, is not quite where we are as a utility yet, but it's the optimum desire to be. Not just using planned maintenance, but we call it predictive maintenance. You plan better for maintenance, and you use some tools like testing for vibration and other analysis that let you delay and optimize maintenance over time so that it affects the best program possible for your utility. Thank you.
Thank you.